I never said that in an interview, man. Never. It's Barbara Walters shit, Cam. It's pretty fucking good, man.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty good, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And truth be told, man, no matter what we went through, I never want nobody to lay a fucking finger on them, man. We were like brothers, man. Once we got past the business of the shit, we were like brothers. We had a relationship where he could be thinking something, he'd give me a look, and I knew what was up. It was like a non-spoken communication, man. Because when you're around somebody 16, 24, when you're around somebody 24 hours a day, that's technically what it was, for a year, really, that's just not a year. You're talking about, honestly, man, you gotta multiply that shit like by 9 or 10. That's a lot of hours in conversation you're putting together with people, you know?
Right. All day.
Yeah.
So what happened afterwards? What was the aftermath of everything?
We went through the legal shit. I had to file a lawsuit on him to get the money back. Ended up getting the money back. But I had to strong arm me. And the way I had to get the money back, I said, all right, look, man, I'm going to need the money back. You go to court, need the money back, but I'm going to have to subpoena your wife and all your side chicks to court.
All right.
I got the money back like that.
Mm.
It's fucked up. It's a dirty game. But you got to do what you got to do, right? I needed that money, man. The money was already spent. And I had already earned it.
Yeah.
But let me say this, man. In hindsight, I don't know if I could have done anything differently. I think everything played out the way it was supposed to play out. And I'd do it all over again, man. I'd do everything all over again. But I will say, though, I'm glad he didn't shoot me, and I'm glad I didn't shoot him. Because we both had the potential to kill each other, man. That's real. That shit would have been OK Corral.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that it didn't turn into that, man. And that right there gives me hope that one day him and I can sit down and have a conversation. You know, you get a lot of people creating rumors about him dying and all this other shit. And they ask me, say, man, how do you feel about Eminem, still living? I said, man, I hope the motherfucker let it be 100. I said, because that gives me more time for him to change his ways and say, you know what? Let me have a conversation with Naz. Because truth be told, man, he is not done with one of the 7 steps of his AA. And one of the 7 steps of his AA is to heal and mend all past relationships that you had a problem with people. Especially since me being there when you first got your drug addiction. I'm step 1. So I leave that door open, man.
Yeah.
I do.
At one point, Proof was going around squashing beefs with everybody, like Insane Clown Posse, and I guess a couple other dudes. Did anybody ever reach out to you at that time?
No. No.
Did you ever run into those guys again?
You know what? I run into Insane Clown Posse all the time. I've run into Proof a couple times. I ran into Bizarre recently. Bizarre had a shitload of stuff to tell me. Matter of fact, me and Bizarre was on the same flight from Detroit to Atlanta, and we had a chance to talk. And he shared a lot of stuff with me, man, about the aftermath after I left, and how I was an intricate part of that camp, and they could tell with me leaving how things had changed. I've run into DJ Head, members of that camp, the promotions team. I don't have any ill will toward that guy, man. And here's the thing. We're old now. We're fucking old, man.
Yeah.
We're 20, it's 20 years later. Look, I got gray in my beard. I'm not as big as I was. I was a lot bigger. I got gray in my beard. I'm sure Eminem got some gray hair, but he's dying it. I mean, we all went through that shit. I dyed my shit up until about 3-4 years ago. Listen, we're not kids anymore. We're grown ass men. We have either lived half our life or at least 2/3 of our life at this point. So now it's time to come to the table. Let's sit down. Let's laugh. Let's joke. Bury the hatchet. I don't want to fucking battle no more, man. I've been reaching out to these cats, man, for the last 20 years. And it's not just for monetary reasons. Because I really felt like we were friends. And all friends at some point gonna fall out. If you're truly friends. But that being said, I've brought some lucrative deals to their table, to their attorneys and to their managers. Got a billionaire right now that's done blockbuster films that wants to do the Eminem movie right now. 2 years ago, he wanted to do it. He left it open. He said, hey, if you ever get him on board, we're going to murder the box office. It's going to be the biggest movie of all times. He said, but you got to get M on board. I said, I can't get M on board. M has to get M on board. His manager, his attorney. And here's the thing, man. I'm talking about 20 years now. How many more albums you going to do? Do anybody else want to hear you? And I'm not saying that as a diss. He's the greatest rapper of all time. The dude is dope. Even at damn near 50, he's dope. But you got younger people coming up. MGK is the younger version of Eminem. All day. And one of the reasons why I ended up leaving was because when I would go to get reimbursed for what I had spent, that became a problem. So I'm like, okay, I don't need a tan. So why y'all mad at me? Because I got receipts for the tan that he got. And instead of him not being able to do what he wanted to do, I've always saved face for him to make sure that whatever he wanted, make sure he had it. So, but if there was some money that needed to be sent, they wanted to know why, when, what for, how much, this, that, and the other. Tell them we're going to do something else. This guy's the one that's generating the money. Eminem's generating the money. He don't want to hear fucking no coming from his accountant and his lawyers. He know he want to do this shit now. But then when they can't do it, then I take the hit, make sure he got it to get reimbursed later.
Gotcha.
So when I'm always constantly fighting to get reimbursed later, that's where the battle became more than I can handle. You know what? I'm leaving.
Right.
I'm leaving. I said, I'm not doing this shit. But, because I took a leave of absence from my job at GM. I didn't quit. Guys that were in the camp were quitting their jobs. I told dudes, hey, man, don't quit your job, man. Take a leave of absence. Pimp the game, man. Take a leave of absence. Go back and work a little bit. Take another leave. Go back out on the road. When the tour's over, you go back to work. You work for a little bit. You take a leave of absence. You go back out on tour. Guys didn't want to do that. Everybody just went, they threw all their cards in, man.
Is there anything you left out of the book you could share?
Man, I left a lot of shit out, man. And even to this day, I can't talk about it out of respect for his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Because he's a father.
Right, right.
And actually, the edition that you read, this edition right here, this is the 3rd edition. The first edition was fire, man. I had attorneys go back through it, man. They pulled so much shit out of this. Oh, you can't say this. You can't talk about this. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. Because at that time, the first edition was written from an angry place. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't pull no punches, but even with me not pulling any punches, it was some stuff I was just like, you know what? At that time, I had a family. I said, if I tell this, I put my family in jeopardy. Not based off of Eminem, but just based off of the industry. You understand what I'm saying? Some things you got to be able to have the foresight to say, you know what? How am I gonna feel about this shit in 20 years?